Hi everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel again. It's been a while since we discussed milkers, and I had a request from somebody for assistance in helping to determine differences in the surge milkers. So if you don't know much about them, you can get a full history of them off of the internet. Hamby Dairy Supply is a good source for information and replacement parts. They have genuine Surge Westphalia parts, and they also have aftermarket parts that are slightly reduced in price. I've used both, and both work fine. A lot of times with something that I'm fixing up for somebody else, I'll use the cheaper one just to save them a little money in the long run. So one of the things that you need to know about the Surge milkers is pre-war, they had a seam on the side, and they eliminated that on the newer version for sanitary reasons. Now on this one, the seam actually only shows very, very minimally on the inside, but it also has a base on the bottom to keep it up off of the barn floor. So some people do prefer that because of that. And I believe that a very small portion of it may not have been stainless steel, where with this newer version it is. This one also has the handle with the lid hinge as part of the handle, and I think that made it a little more secure, where a lot of beat up my table. A lot of times on the newer version, your lid bracket will be broke off or welded back on because of damage. So that's something to look forward to. Just because of carrying it in and out of the house or wherever you're processing your milk, it's good to have that hinge in place and not have it broken. So if you're buying on eBay, obviously you're only buying them used, check for that because that's a good thing to have. Now for lids, I'm going to point you down here to the table. There is a C pulsator and an S pulsator. I even have some that say P pulsator and some that don't have anything at all. This is a C and this is an S. And you can see here the lid is, the opening lid is very small on this one. And a C opens up this way and it doesn't open as fully. But these are all your mechanisms in here. Whatever you get, a lot of times people upgrade to a new universal unit. If you're buying a used pulsator, get a pulsator kit. And these are two different pulsator kits that are available, ECI and Coburn. I have both. They're pretty comparable. I believe it was the Coburn one has a rubber cap that goes on your lid replacement, because this can go bad also. So that's a nice extra thing that they're throwing in for about the same cost. This is the one that we rebuilt previously, and this is a C lid. Now you can tell a C lid because a C lid has this rectangle right here versus a round one on an S, and it also has this gasket on the bottom. Now some people, some unscrupulous people, might put a gasket on here to make you think that you're getting a C. A lot of people want to upgrade to the C pulsator because the parts for the pulsator apparently are easier to find. I have lots of C's and S's. I probably have 40 pulsators. So to me, it makes no difference. Now this is an S lid. An S lid does not have a gasket down here. And that's why a lot of people like the C lids over the S. And it's got this little notch here. So that's kind of a clue. And it's got a wider base at the bottom. You want to make sure you get this, otherwise you're going to have to replace that. These are easy to find through Hamby Dairy Supply also. And with that rebuild kit, you get that also. So we are going to rebuild and show you some differences as I'm going on these parts. Now, this is a gasket for your lid. This is real easy to replace and it's worth the time. They run about $3 to $7 depending on if you're getting a surge or if you're getting a generic. I believe this one was a generic. I've already got the other one out and got this lid all washed up. Now if you're going to use one of these milkers on a cow, it's nice to get the strap that goes over their back so they're not kicking the bucket, because these do get dents and dings. This other one has got a little ding on it. So that's that all. The lid is put in place. So now I will rebuild the pulsators in a separate video for you. But I'm going to open up this kit so that I can get this cap, because it comes in there. So we're going to replace that also. And you'll probably need pliers for it, which I didn't grab. Okay, so here we have our air hoses, and these are genuine Surge Westphalia air hoses. And a lot of times you can tell the difference because of the tapering on the end. And then this hose is part of your liner. And this is a Surge liner also. I went ahead and spent the extra money for the Surge items on mine because it was the first one I built and I didn't know a lot of difference between all of them. Now this is generic air hose that I got from Hamby's. And you could probably even pick up this type of hose at a farm store. But these are already pre-cut and ready to go. And they are about $3.60 for these, for a set of 4. Here I have a Magnaflex liner, and this is a Magnaflex 203, and I believe these were medium bore for the opening for the teats. And this is a Maze. This is a Maze 282. They are cut identical, and this is a medium bore also. They both have the rolled top. And I found generally the only way to really get these out is to cut them out when you're replacing them, and you're not going to reuse them, so it doesn't matter. The Magnaflex is a heavier rubber than the Maze. You do need an inflation brush for cleaning down in here because it gets right down through all of this and here, where like a bottle brush for, say, a baby wouldn't go as far, and they are like 18-inch long brushes. So we're going to make sure we keep those separate. And these are our Surge shells. And a Surge brand shell will say Surge printed right into the metal. If I can focus on it at all. It's stamped right into that. De Laval usually will say something sideways across this way. I think as long as you have that they're semi-interchangeable. I grouped all of mine. There's a serial number on them by the letter on the serial number. And these are all pre-washed with hot soap and water. They haven't been used for milk in a long time, but they sell milk supplies that I've shown in another video at Tractor Supply. So some Tractor Supplies have them and some don't, but they are available at Tractor Supply online. The problem is the weight of these gallons of things can be very expensive. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to use the Maze liners today. And these just insert and pull down and put that rolled edge over the rolled edge, and that is almost complete. Now you just add your air hose, and that is one complete. So I was looking through my Hamby book, and for one of these already rebuilt with the supplies for cleaning was like $1,900. You can buy these bit by bit as you come across them on Craigslist and on eBay until you get all of your parts and save a lot of money over that. Some people through Craigslist or eBay will do all of this for you and sell you a rebuilt kit. I have extras. I'm happy to sell you a rebuilt kit. We sell the whole milker with a rebuilt pulsator and all new liners for $400. And I generally locally know other farmers who have gotten out of the dairy business and they no longer do this. So here's our lid and here is our liner. You want to make sure that you are putting these on. Short hose goes onto here to fill, and this is going to go on the end of your pulsator. So we're going to put them on like this because your pulsator sits here on top. So that you are able to reach each individual one of those. Okay, so now you just slide those on. This is such an easy thing to do for yourself that some of the previous eBay sellers were selling them for $700 and $800. I couldn't justify the price of the parts and the shipping and my time to charge somebody that much money. I like to do things for fun little hobbies. You want to make sure those are on nice and snug as far as they'll go. And now we have a rebuilt lid. Minus the little cap. Okay, so your pulsator, you need pulsator oil. So a lot of times the kits when you order them online will come the whole pulsator kit with the oil. That is the best way to go because you're going to need this oil during your time of ownership of the milker anyways. And I believe 1 drop of oil on each leather for every 40 hours of operation. So, depending on how many cows you have, you're going to have to oil your milker regularly. So have that. And this is 4 milk machines and the leathers, and it says it won't congeal and it is penetrating. So it's not going to just sit on the surface and gum up. So moving on to the next thing, I'm just going to show you how they look assembled. That just hooks right on there, and these hang down, and that's why you want that lid hinge in place and to not have it lost, because it does help to keep it on just carrying it to and from the house. However, if you have a milk can out in the barn and you're just carrying that in, then that doesn't matter as much. So that's a nice thing to keep in mind also. I am going to get out my pliers and finish this little job and get set up for part 2 of rebuilding the pulsators. And I'll just show you, here's the S. Put it on, twist it forwards, and then these will just go right into that. So after I have it rebuilt, then we'll